When you speak to a woman, you are not exchanging words. You are entering a quiet negotiation with the unseen. Most men think conversation is a bridge. They are wrong. Conversation is a mirror, and like all mirrors, it does not invent what it reflects. It reveals what already exists. Machiavelli understood this long before the modern world forgot it. He observed courts, lovers, rulers, and rivals, and he noticed something subtle yet decisive. People rarely reveal their true desires through what they say. They reveal them through how they respond when they feel safe, seen, and slightly unsettled at the same time. This is where most men fail. They speak as if desire were something to be extracted, pulled out, forced into daylight by clever questions or bold statements. But desire is not a confession dragged from the body. It is a shadow that lengthens only when the light is placed correctly. Have you ever noticed how a flame behaves in the wind? Too much force and it dies. Too little presence and it fades. So it is with conversation. Machiavelli would tell you this. If you wish to hear what a woman truly wants, you must first become a place where truth can breathe. Not comfort alone. Comfort is common. But controlled calm authority without pressure, interest without hunger. Most men talk like beggars knocking on locked doors. The wise man speaks like someone who already owns the house and is merely opening windows. Words are not tools, they are signals, and every signal announces something about your inner state long before it carries meaning. When you rush to impress, you announce scarcity. When you explain too much, you announce insecurity. When you perform, you announce fear of silence. Machiavelli watched men destroy their influence not by saying the wrong thing, but by revealing too much of themselves too quickly, like a general laying his entire army on the field before the battle has even begun. Silence, he knew, is not absence. It is positioning. A man who can pause comfortably, who allows space to exist between sentences, who listens without leaning forward as if starving. This man creates tension without effort. And tension is the birthplace of desire. Why? Because desire is born where certainty ends. When a woman cannot immediately categorize you, her mind begins to work. And the mind, when it works voluntarily, becomes invested. Think of conversation not as a river flowing outward, but as a tide. You speak, you withdraw, you observe what returns. A woman's hidden desires are not buried deep. They sit just beneath the surface, guarded not by complexity, but by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of vulnerability, fear of being seen too clearly. So ask yourself, when you speak, do you feel like a judge? Or like a witness? Judges close mouths, witnesses open them. Machiavelli would never advise you to interrogate. He would advise you to create contrast to speak with clarity and restraint, so that the other person feels invited to fill the space you leave behind. This is why indirectness is often more powerful than directness. A blunt question demands an answer. A well-placed observation invites a confession. Instead of asking what she wants, you speak about what people want. Instead of demanding truth, you describe patterns. And when you do this calmly, without accusation or agenda, something remarkable happens. She recognizes herself in your words and corrects you. No, she'll say, smiling slightly, "It's not exactly like that." And there it is. The door opens not because you pushed, but because you stepped aside. Machiavelli knew that people reveal their inner world when they feel understood without being exposed. This is the art, not seduction, not manipulation, perception. Most men think strength is dominance in conversation. Machiavelli knew strength was containment, the ability to hold your center while another person circles closer, the patience to let desire speak first, the discipline to avoid filling every silence with noise. Have you noticed how people talk more freely late at night, when the world quiets, when defenses lower? Your presence must create that night, not through softness alone, but through steadiness. You must be the mountain that does not move when the wind changes. When a woman senses that her words will not disturb you, will not shock you, will not obligate you, she relaxes. And relaxed people tell the truth. This is why reacting emotionally is fatal. Surprise, approval, disapproval, all of these teach her what to hide next time. A Machiavellian listener receives everything the same way, calmly, neutrally, attentively, as if nothing could possibly be too much. Because once someone believes they cannot overwhelm you, they stop censoring themselves, and censorship is the enemy of desire. You see, hidden desires are not hidden because they are dangerous. They are hidden because they are fragile. They require the right environment to surface, like certain flowers that bloom only at night. Your words are not the seed. Your presence is the climate. So speak less than you want to. Listen more than feels necessary. Respond slower than instinct demands. Let your tone say, nothing you reveal will cost you safety. And watch how much people suddenly want to reveal. This is only the beginning. Because once desire is visible, a far subtler game begins, not of extraction, but of direction. And Machiavelli, ever the strategist, knew that revelation is not the end of power. It is the moment power truly begins. Once desire reveals itself, most men panic. They rush forward, intoxicated by the sudden warmth, mistaking revelation for invitation. Machiavelli would shake his head at this moment, because he understood a truth that never ages. What is revealed too quickly loses its power. Desire, once named, becomes vulnerable, and the one who rushes to seize it exposes his own hunger. Power, Machiavelli knew, is not gained at the moment of disclosure. It is tested. Imagine a hunter who hears movement in the forest and immediately charges toward the sound. He may scare the animal away before ever seeing it. The wiser hunter stills himself, lets the forest breathe, and allows the creature to step fully into view on its own terms. So it is with conversation. When a woman reveals something personal, an unspoken want, a quiet dissatisfaction, a half-confessed longing, your task is not to respond enthusiastically. Enthusiasm is noisy. Your task is to absorb it as stone absorbs heat, slowly and without reaction. This restraint sends a silent message. I am not startled by depth. I am not desperate for closeness. I can hold what you offer without grasping. Machiavelli observed that people trust those who do not immediately capitalize on vulnerability, because restraint signals confidence, and confidence signals safety. Most men mistake safety for softness. Machiavelli never did. Safety is strength that does not need to announce itself. If you respond too eagerly, you teach her to retreat. If you respond too coolly, you teach her indifference. The balance is subtle. Acknowledgement without pursuit, presence without pressure, a simple pause, a thoughtful nod, a quiet, measured response. These are not small things. They are the gestures of someone who governs himself, and self-governance is irresistibly magnetic. You see, Machiavelli believed that those who cannot rule themselves will always fail to influence others. Conversation exposes this instantly. A man who rushes, interrupts, over-explains, or fills silence reveals a lack of inner command. A man who waits, listens, and chooses his words reveals sovereignty. And sovereignty awakens curiosity. Have you ever noticed how people lean toward what does not chase them? How attention sharpens when it is not begged for? This is not cruelty. It is human nature responding to perceived value. Machiavelli would say, people desire what appears complete without them. When you speak to a woman, your words should not sound like an offering. They should sound like an expression, not "I need you to like this," but "This is simply how I see the world." There is an immense difference. One invites judgment, the other invites alignment, and alignment is the birthplace of desire. Stories, Machiavelli knew, are far more revealing than questions. When you tell a story, not to impress, but to illustrate a world, you create a space for reflection. She does not answer you, she answers herself. For example, speaking of how people often confuse attention with connection, or how many mistake intensity for intimacy, or how silence can be more revealing than words. As you speak, watch her reactions, not her words, her pauses, her breath, the moments where she leans in slightly or grows still. These are confessions without language. Hidden desires rarely announce themselves. They echo. Machiavelli trained his eye to notice these echoes. A ruler who listens only to declarations misses conspiracies. A man who listens only to words misses longing. When she corrects you, when she adds a detail, when she softens her tone, these are not accidents. They are invitations disguised as adjustments. And here lies a crucial Machiavellian principle. Never rush to define the connection. Definition freezes movement. Ambiguity allows growth. If you name desire too early, you trap it in language, and language is limiting. Better to let it breathe, evolve, deepen. A woman often reveals her deepest wants indirectly, through contrast. She will tell you what she dislikes, what disappointed her, what she avoids. Listen carefully. These are shadows cast by unfulfilled desires. Machiavelli would say, people complain about what they cannot ask for directly. So when she speaks of boredom, she speaks of excitement. When she speaks of instability, she speaks of safety. When she speaks of being misunderstood, she speaks of wanting to be seen. Your role is not to solve these things. Solving ends conversation. Your role is to understand them without rushing to fix them. This is where many men fail. They hear desire and respond with solutions. But solutions close doors. Understanding opens them. A man who tries to fix announces, I need to be useful to be valued. A man who understands announces, I am already sufficient. And sufficiency is seductive. Machiavelli believed influence grows when others feel free around you. Free to speak, free to hesitate, free to reveal. Pressure kills freedom. Expectation suffocates it. So you must speak as one who does not need outcomes. This does not mean indifference. It means detachment from result. The confidence that whatever unfolds is acceptable. Have you ever noticed how the most compelling figures never seem rushed by time? They let conversations unfold like weather. They do not force clarity. They allow mystery. Mystery is not created by secrecy. It is created by depth, and depth is revealed slowly. As the conversation deepens, you will feel moments where something could be said. Something bold, something direct. Machiavelli would advise caution, not silence forever, but precision. Speak when words will land, not merely when you feel them rising. Timing is everything. A single well-placed sentence can outweigh an hour of chatter. A quiet remark offered at the right moment can echo long after the conversation ends. This is how desire continues beyond presence, because the most powerful conversations do not end when people part. They continue inwardly, they linger, and Machiavelli knew the mind returns to what it has not finished understanding. So leave things unfinished. Let some questions remain unasked. Let some meanings remain implied. Do not aim to be unforgettable by excess. Aim to be unforgettable by absence, by what is felt but not fully grasped. This is not a trick. It is respect for human nature. And human nature, Machiavelli reminds us, is drawn not to what is loud, but to what is alive beneath the surface. We are not finished yet, because once conversation becomes a space of safety and mystery, something deeper emerges, not merely desire, but attachment. And attachment, when guided wisely, becomes influence. That is where the final layers of this art reveal themselves.